If you've been following my channel, you certainly have noticed I have a thing for warbirds. They are really fun to fly, and they have this nice history to them. And I mean, usually they have a lot of scale details, and you actually can fly them scale and do aerobatics, which is something that actually suits me really nice. I have a bunch of them here, P-51D, I have a Corsair F4U, Trojan T-28. But this time I said to myself, let's do something different. So I managed to find a discontinued plane. So it's the E-Flite P-47D Thunderbolt. So the E-Flite does actually have a P-47 Razorback. But the difference is actually this canopy. This is like the P-51 canopy. It's all clear all the way around. And as I believe the P-47 is actually obscured on the back. So first I managed to get hold of this one, and then I decided to update the electronics inside. So I replaced the stock receiver. So inside there is an AR637T receiver and also an Avian ESC. So it's all up to date with all the features you can have from any new modern RC airplane. So it would be really interesting to get this one in the air and see if it flies and if all my electronic upgrades work. So let's head to the flying field. On the runway today, then, the E-Flite P-47D, discontinued but still looking really good.
Gear up.
Gears are up, so let's start pushing this bird. I'm going full throttle. Drops the nose when I do rolls. A little bit more than I would like.
Time remaining 4 minutes.
It flies steady, this P-47D. No question about it. It's pretty easy to fly. But it also, this is only a 3S plane, so I'm running this on a 2200 3S smart battery from Spektrum 30C. And if I could manage to do 4S, I might do that, because I think it will really benefit on having more power. And as I changed the ESC inside to an Avian 45 amp, the ESC does support 4S. So only question is if the airframe and the motor will take it. So that's a thing for the future to try.
Time remaining 3 minutes.
So I set a timer for 5 minutes. But I do also have the Avian Smart ESC alarm, so it will trigger if the battery goes below preset voltage. So far it's an enjoyable flight. Really straight. The only thing, when you roll, it does actually drop the nose a little bit more than I like. So I have to start with some nose up a little bit more than usual. You can see it does drop the nose. I'm doing a roll much more than, for instance, the RV7, which I looked on last week. So I could, of course, compare this with the RV7, and the RV7 is a better flying RC airplane, no question about it. In comparison then with something very similar like the E-Flite T28 1.1 meter, the Trojan T28 is, to me at least, a much better flying RC airplane, much more agile. Of course you can run the T28 on 3S and on 4S, and this one, as I said, is only 3S compatible so far. So the T28, it's a much better flying RC airplane, and it's also a little bit lighter than this one, but this one is to a comparable size and feature, it is really light on its feet. So let's slow down then and kick in the flaps. It does slow down without ballooning, which is always a good thing. Flies almost as slow as the E-Flite P-47D, the 1.2 meter. There's a bit of wind today, but nothing to be concerned about. So of course I have to take it into account when it's time to land. So gears are down. Just to get it downwind and then touch down into the wind. Yes, truly a smooth landing. Oops, a little bit of a nose down, but it's very easy to do it on these kind of grass fields. If you have like a small pit or something. So this one then, it looks fantastic and it flies really great. So I'm really glad that this P-47D with all the electronics, the upgrade I did actually fly and fly good. I think the flying was nice. Of course, you heard the roaring sound from the engine and the prop. And the prop is, as you might have seen here, it's actually a two-bladed prop. And when I got this one, it actually came with the two-bladed prop already attached, and in the box had a four-bladed prop. And if you look underneath, there are actually these plastic skid plates underneath. So this one is certainly set up to actually have it hand launching and belly landing, which is a really nice feature to have, especially when you have the retracts, and you can actually choose if you want to land with the landing gears or if you just want to put them up and belly land it. And that's the reason, I guess, why they didn't actually include and mount the two-bladed prop. So I will certainly come back to the four-bladed prop flying another time, do another video about it. Overall, I think it's a really nice featured RC airplane with the retracts and the flaps, and I mean it's a nice looking pilot guy inside, and the green style is really nice. Or these guns in front, and overall I think the paint and everything is nice. It's not the best paint job I've seen, and there is a kind of a stickiness to the foam. But overall, I think it's just it's a striking looking RC airplane, and it's a really nice size also. Speaking about size and weight, the current E-Flite P-47 Razorback is actually much heavier than this one. It's a little bit longer wingspan, but it's also much heavier. So a feature I appreciate very much is just to have as light as possible RC airplane, because then they do glide much better, and they are usually much easier to handle. So looking just inside, there is actually a really nice, nicely sized inside. And next to the servo I have the Spektrum AR637T receiver. And in front, in the compartment, I actually have the Avian ESC mounted and hot glued in place. And underneath, there's this hole where you put the battery. So I run this on the 3-cell 2200 smart batteries, and it's all balanced. I don't have to do anything, which is a nice thing. You don't have to adding counterweights in the nose or something. So I mean, it was an interesting experience to purchase something discontinued to do an electronics upgrade and to get it working. So it's I handle it more like a P&P version, a plug and play, where you actually put your own receiver inside. And the smart ESC is actually really nice because you heard the tones in the video, and the tones actually warns me when the voltage drops below a certain level. I have of course a lot of readout of the battery temperature and other things, but it's a really nice warning that avoids you actually running out of power. So in a way you don't have to actually set your timer. I think I set the timer for like 5 minutes, and I think you can safely fly this one for 5 or 6 minutes. And even when I did these loops and rolls and I got this smart alarm with the tone, I could actually just reduce throttle and I could still fly without it being triggered. So I knew that it was just when I actually pushed the engine 100% that the voltage started to drop. So if I went like 75%, it was okay. And as you saw the landings, or the landing, it went okay. Of course it did actually nose over before it stopped, and it's very common with these because the landing gears are not angled forward enough. A great thing about these landing gears are actually it's difficult to see, but there is actually a spring over here, so they do absorb some of the rough landings, one does, and hopefully that will just avoid the landing gears getting just stripped from the wing, which is usually what happens when you have a band landing with retracted gears. So I will certainly come back to this one and fly this on a 4-bladed prop, and let's see if the engine noise will actually change and the flight performance, because it's a really nice looking RC bird, and well, it's the P-47D.